there, so let me do that. Okay, welcome to Dodgers Dogs. As part of the Dodgers Daily Network, Casey Porter here with Coach Holt. Yes, sir, Dodgers baseball, baby. Hey, last night was Dodgers baseball. First thing I wanted to say, that was a playoff game. That's how you win playoff games. That's how you manage playoff games. That's the urgency you play with in playoff games. And again, in a playoff scenario, the Dodgers kicked the Padres' ass, right? They didn't kick their ass, but they did win the game. But everything about last night was playoff oriented.
Yes, it was. Well played by both teams, Case. I mean, only 4 hits by each ball club. That tells you how good the pitching was. Of course, the two things I know we both love, the small ball on both sides. Manny Machado is one of the best third basemen on the face of the planet. In his defense, that would have been an outstanding play on the bunt where it hit off his wrist. I mean, that would have been, top 10 at Sports Center #1 probably if he'd have made that play in his defense. But what we've talked about before, putting the bunt down, here we go. So that they were playing small ball. The managers took it as a playoff situation. It is. It's a tight race, and it's going to be that way from here on. And both managers did a great job. The pitching staffs, both sides, did a great job. And the offense just had to find any way they could to score some runs. And you get one more than the Padres, all the Dodgers need to do. And Teoscar's home run took care of that.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing about that the rally, the 3-run rally in the third was that there's so many different layers to it. You had the bottom of your lineup come through so many times in these games where it's the small margins that win. It's like, your dudes may do your thing or they may not, but it's like always an unsung type of person or an unsung type of part of your lineup that comes through. So Michael Conforto, a young man that everybody has been clamoring to get DFA'd, whatever. And I'm not going to necessarily, he hasn't been great this year. I'm not going to try to say people are wrong on that, but he comes through with a leadoff base hit. Alex Freeland, who on yesterday's show, I asked you point blank, do the Dodgers have enough time to kind of let him continue to settle into his confidence and time for him to make the adjustment to the major league level? He gets a base hit. Miguel Rojas lays down basically a perfect bunt. And so, it was, of course, Teo, you did have the home run. And he had Kershaw, who is a Hall of Famer. But it was the margins that won the game last night, and that's how you win close games. They win close games, and the same way you win close games is how you win playoff games.
That's absolutely correct, Case. Both of these are playoff teams. We know the Dodgers and the Padres are going to be in there in some capacity. They're going to be in the playoffs, and they're going to be a tough out for anybody. They're both capable of winning the league and actually win the World Series if they get hot, and get to playing up to their capabilities. So tremendous game. A lot of small things. The Dodgers probably still had too many strikeouts. I think they had 11 Ks, but the pitching staff, I think we only walked 2 guys. Is that correct? I think something like that.
Yeah,
so you didn't
but it was a bullpen game for the Padres, and the bullpen is what is that's their strength. So
you're going to get 11 Ks of those arms they run out there at you. So a lot of great things. Like I said, a great game to watch if you're a baseball fan. And obviously if you're a Dodger fan, the Dodgers got the win. It's all tied up again in the division. Still got work to do. You don't want the Padres walking out of here with a 2-game lead. So the Dodgers got to, we want to sweep. We're going for the sweep. I'm not saying that, but you got to win tonight. A great matchup tonight. I know Cisse has struggled some for them, but here recently he hasn't struggled. And Blake Snell is getting back. Blake Snell is one of the best. We know what he's capable of doing. Should be another low-scoring, tremendous game tonight, the way it looks.
I think it's going to be interesting. We're going to get into Clayton Kershaw here in a minute and all sorts of different conversations about last night's game. But I think tonight's game is interesting because the Padres, they've really built an offense that is based on putting the ball in play. And Blake Snell is a guy that walks some people, but then he strikes out a lot of people. So this is going to be just a tremendous cat and mouse game because if Blake Snell walks a bunch of Padres, the way they put the ball in play, that could be a really bad situation for him. But at the same time, if the way that he strikes out guys, if he strikes out more than he normally does against the Padres, that could be a rough night for them. So that's just something has to give in that scenario, and I'm super excited to see how that plays out.
No doubt about it. It's kind of like last night. Vesia has a horrible – he hits the first 2 guys. It walks a guy. You got a base load, nobody. Luckily, the Dodgers only got out of the sacrifice fly. They're able to work out of it. It's like what you said. You put yourself in those situations right there, and the Dodgers did the same thing with them, getting the bases loaded. I think just 1 out on that one and just got, were able to squeeze across a couple in that situation. So it's going to be a tight fit tonight. A big crowd. Great, two outstanding teams that are battling. It's here we are. We're kind of out of the dog days, and right now it's like it's a race to the finish line. Who's going to win the division? And we know both these teams, unless something just extraordinarily will not happen. But if it did, there's no way the Giants are going to come back up. And you look at the other divisions, I don't think there's any chance. The Cubs are obviously going to be there. They've been struggling, but these are playoff teams, and they're playing playoff baseball now. You put it very, very correctly.
Yeah, and the thing about that, in a 3-game series, that first game is so big because now all you got to do is split the next 2 to win the series. That's obviously huge. So we've talked about, yesterday's show, we spent a lot of time talking about not giving a crap about what's happened to this point, and that absolutely is the case. I mean, the only thing that matters is moving forward. And so saying that, all the Dodgers have to do is win one of the next 2 to leave this weekend series tied for first place. Now, you want to win all 3, obviously, but the Padres are great. It would be surprising if either team swept. Obviously, the Padres can't now. But the significance is the big odds now are that at the very least, you're going to at least be tied for first place leaving this weekend. That's big.
That's huge. And like I said, for a lot of reasons, these are major league players, the mental part of it, that they get it already. They understand that, the most important pitch is pitch 1 tonight. Then after that, like we talked about yesterday, then after that pitch, the next pitch is, it's a pitch, it's the next pitch business. And these guys all understand that. They've been in the game long enough. They're the best players on the planet. They get all that. So, it's a situation tonight where, again, it's all out in front of you. We talked ad nauseum yesterday about, moving on, not giving it. And that's true. It's still the same way here. You got a big win last night's great, but tonight's another night. If you lose the next 2, we're going to forget about this one. Not really, but you kind of will if you lose 2 out of 3.
Well, you forgot about beating Toronto twice because of the way that series ended.
Yes, no kidding. We gave one away there at the end. You're absolutely correct. You forget about it. You're pissed off because you won 2 out of 3 there because you should have swept. It's the same scenario here, and we talked yesterday about having Kershaw in there, a Hall of Famer who the moment wasn't going to be too big. What a great performance by him. And like I said, that was my opinion, that you want that guy being your first one. Not that Snell hasn't been in big games. He has, and he's been successful in big games. But, how many innings, Clayton Kershaw's thrown his career in big games and big situations. And, man, what a masterful performance by the old dude there, man. Got it done. And great 6 innings for the Dodgers, and saved a lot of the bullpen there too.
Yeah, we will get into that here in a minute, but I want to kind of get back to the overall big picture talk of the way things are going on. As fans, we tend to dwell on some of the negativity and some of the warts or the ebbs and flows. We tend to focus on the down parts because that's what hurts us the most, right? Sometimes it hurts more to lose than it does as far as feeling good to win. So that's kind of the human nature of being a fan. So what I would rather focus on is, we focus on what the Dodgers haven't been doing. They haven't been hitting. They haven't been doing. So let's focus on what they actually have been doing, okay? What they have been doing lately, although that last game of the Toronto series was terrible and the sweep against the Angels was terrible, one thing they haven't been good at this year is beating teams with winning records. That's very concerning. So what I want to say on a positive note here, a very positive thing that the Dodgers, if they win one of these next 2 games and win this series against the Padres, that will mean they have won 2 out of 3 against 2 of the best teams in the major leagues very recently. So let's talk about what the Dodgers have done versus what the Dodgers haven't. That's what they have done.
And that's a great point, Case. And if you want to look at it right now, as of today, the Dodgers are 6-2 against the Padres. So they may not have done well against some of the other teams with good records, but they're 6-2 against a very good Padre team. So, they have a chance to, sweep. We'll see whatever. Again, let's worry about the first pitch tonight. But, yes, that's have not done well against teams with winning record, but unless your name's the Padres, they've done very well against them.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And it's another series, we mentioned this yesterday, where you just need to slap the Padres and say, hey, we were 5-2 against you coming in last year. We beat you last year in the most improbable of ways. You had the one-off. So what was that, the 2022 when the Padres beat the Dodgers. Yeah. That sucked. But the more that you beat the Padres, the more this goes on. And I keep saying this because this is the window for San Diego to win. They have Manny Machado and these guys. They're 2 or 3 years from now, they likely might be a bottom feeder because of the way that they've done business here. And I don't have a problem with that. I wouldn't have the problem with that if I was a San Diego fan. I would enjoy being aggressive. So the more that you beat the Padres, the more that you claim dominance, the more that you kind of distance yourself and go, that was a one-off. We are your big brother. You can't beat us. And that mental side of the game really, being an Oklahoma State fan, we know as well as anybody, trying to beat OU in football has been horrendous for 100 years now. That thing gets into your head. I promise you it does.
No, there's no doubt about it. I mean, even though you try to, of course, now we got bragging rights. We won the last time we ever played for the net. But, the 100-year record is brutal, and it has been for a long time. Same way here. You look at the recent history of the two teams. The Dodgers have done very well. But it doesn't matter when you get right down to it. Yeah, 2022 was brutal. It almost seemed like to a point that the Padres, I'm talking more about their fans, not the players themselves, lived off of that. They were, that's their calling card. Hey, dude, you didn't do anything.
Yeah.
That was great. Nice job. Same with the Diamondbacks. At least got in the World Series the year they knocked the Dodgers out. But, living off that. And you're right. We talked about this yesterday, Case. The Padres, what they did at the trading deadline, they went all in. They got guys who are getting ready to walk. I don't know the status of Machado and Tatis Jr. But I know they're probably coming pretty soon. There's going to be big paydays, or they're going to be going somewhere else. Jackson Merrill's a young guy, but at some point he's going to have to be paid. So they know that they're going to have some guys here in the near future going to be walking, and some of their other guys are getting older. So they like every team, they're all in now. It's obviously what they did at the trading deadline. They helped themselves a lot, but they're not looking for anything except for this October.
Mm-hmm. And I think you saw a really dialed in Dodgers team. The celebrations after the hits and all the crap that's all just show, man. That's not what wins you games. That's not actually true emotions. That's not actually being locked in. That's just a show for the fans. I always hear fans say, well, I want to see guys have emotions and pump their fists and blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's cheerleading. That's not true emotions. Okay. So what true emotions or what true locked in is what you saw last night.
Yes.
Typically speaking, when teams are locked in like that, you don't hear a lot of that cheerleading. There's not a whole lot of conversation going on because it's just, you're so deep into thought. You're so deep in your competitive ways of thinking that you're just like a manager. You're thinking like 2-3 innings ahead, my next at bat, my next play, when this guy gets up, that kind of deal. So just kind of I can't explain it, but it's kind of like momentum, like Rick Monday was saying on the broadcast last night. But what you saw with your own eyes was a really locked in type of competition, from both teams.
Yeah, both teams. Like I said, it's as baseball purists, which we all are, and most of our Dodger dogs are all the same way. It was a great baseball game. Obviously it's great because we want to be either way. You see small ball, the Padres laying bunts down. You see them playing small ball. There's pitching, defense, moving runners. This is what we've been talking about. It's how Milwaukee's kicking everybody's ass. It's what they're doing. They're moving.
You need to
runners.
be able to do it on games when you're not hitting home runs. You got to be able to do it.
You got to. You're not going to hit home runs off these outstanding pitching staff. And you mentioned already the Padres, relief core may be the best in the big league. So, yes, you have to be able to move runners. I was great to see last night, Rojas getting the bunt in, and I forget who it was for the Padres, laid a bunt down and move runners over too. So these managers are playing it like their playoff teams. They're playing it now because they're right in the middle of the race. And it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch. I'd been pissed off with the loss, but as a baseball guy, it's fun to watch these teams compete. And you mean the stuff after the base hit, that's more, I think it's even more for their teamates. I don't think they even do it for the fans. They look in the dugout. What are they doing? That's all great and well, good. 162 games, they're not going to be out there. As we used to call the football. You die. We used to call it football mentality. Gary Ward called it a football mentality back at Oklahoma State. And it's true. You can't be that way every inning, every pitch of every game, especially when it's
not for 6 months.
No.
Yeah.
We couldn't do it in Legion, Casey, for 50, 60 games. You can't do it. We talked about we wouldn't.
There were times where you had to peak.
We wouldn't allow our teams to do that. When the state tournament, when you get a big base hit, hell yeah, you're pumped.
Yeah.
because it means something. It means more when you're in those playoff situations. So you could tell both teams were dialed in last night. As you mentioned right at the start, is a playoff mentality, playoff situation of both teams. It was great to watch, and I'm glad we won.
We got to say, if we're going to say it of course, we cheerleaded a lot yesterday because that's kind of how we get in big situations. You get ultra positive, you get ultra convicted. That's when you're at your most confident, and that's when you're most excited. Hey, let's just get this sumbitch going, man. Let's hook it up and go. That's kind of how we were yesterday.
Yep.
So on the other side, that's the fun part of baseball. Is the only thing that matters. You get to play every day.
Yep.
So there's always a tomorrow until the season is over. And so no matter how bad you're struggling or whatever it is, you have a chance to make good for it the next day. That's why you have to have the next pitch mentality in this game. That's great. But the bad part of that is you can come out and play great last night. You feel great about yourself. Now if it's football, you get to sit around all week and talk about how great you are, right?
Yep.
But it's not. It's baseball. Now you got to come back out the very next day and do the same damn thing again. So, I mean, that's just how hard baseball is you have a great game, but you got to keep doing it over and over. The Dodgers cannot lose these next two games.
That's why we talk about it all the time, and it's a known fact. It's hard to be good for individuals. These baseball players, it's hard for them to be good in baseball. It's hard for these teams to be good in baseball.
It is.
Because nobody dominates this sport. Nobody ever has. Nobody ever will dominate baseball. You come out every day, like we said, Case. There's a great win by the Dodgers. They started last night working on today already.
I promise you they did.
They got it. They started the scouting reports. They're sitting there. Blake Snell's going through his meetings with the catcher and the pitching coach and the manager. They've got the plans. They're already started. That's a great win, but you don't have time. The good thing about it is if the Padres lost the game, but they don't have time either. They're focusing on today, throwing Dylan Cease out there and hoping they see the best version of him to give them a chance to win. So that's the beautiful part about this game. And I remember talking to you guys, all the guys that you coach all these years. If you go 4 for 4 here, sometimes I say we'll be back out here in about 12 hours. You better be ready to hook up. I don't care if you went 4 for 4, 0 for 4 with 4 Ks. You got here in 12 hours from now, which happens sometime in Legion. Play a night game, then play. Happens in major leagues too. You walk out there, you have a late night game, you turn around and play a 1 the next day. You don't have time to do it. That's why this is the greatest sport on earth, in my opinion, because that's what we love. Case is that you have to bring it every time. That's why it's a pitch by pitch deal. Pitch 1 tonight. That's all that matters right now.
I'm probably wrong here. Manny Machado has a batting average against the Dodgers of somewhere around 250. He does not strike fear in me. As a Dodgers fan, okay, and full transparency, Manny Machado is one of my least favorite players in baseball. He was one of my least favorite players while he's with the Dodgers. Those of you who are watching this that followed me back then, you will know I've been very consistent. I did not want Manny Machado on the Dodgers roster when he was with the Dodgers. But it just doesn't seem like he is like that guy. He's a great player. He gets he has great regular seasons. It just doesn't seem like he's that guy that carries the Padres through the big moments like a Freddie Freeman did with a grand slam last night, like Kirk Gibson did, like Teo Hernandez even does on many different occasions. Am I wrong there? I mean, of course, now he's going to go 4 for 4 and kick the Dodgers' ass tonight. It's all going to be my fault. But that's just kind of how, like when he comes up, I just don't get that clutch feel for him.
It's the same way. I kind of feel the same way about Tatis. They're both great major league players. We obviously, I'm not big fans of either one of them, but I do respect their talent, their abilities. But you're right, against the Dodgers, they really haven't just gone off on them. It's not like
He's had several opportunities to get the Padres over this Dodgers hump in the last 2 years. It just didn't seem like he's come through with them.
No, but they had the lead last year. I think he might have went 0 for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
I think him and Tatis both might have. I get more concerned with Jackson Merrill. He had 2 hits last night.
Or somebody stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. Or I won't even say the C word. I know you're still banning me saying the C word. He didn't do much last night, but I like that kid. But anyway, Jackson Merrill, has struggled some, but he looks like he's coming around. The Laureano kid, who we just now see, hits a home run. So, I'm like you. I've never just sit back there and, oh, crap, Machado's coming up. I mean, we know he's a great player, and we know he's capable of going 4 for 4 tonight with 3 bombs. We get it. Tatis is the same way. They're that type of talent. But I'm like you. What I've seen just them against the Dodgers, they didn't strike fear in me. Some other guys do more. The Carroll kid, what's his name? Corbin Carroll. Diamondbacks. I mean, I hated it.
Christian Walker. I don't ever want to see Christian Walker ever again.
Yeah, every time those guys come up, you're like, oh shit, here they are again. But so there's some guys that are like that. It's like Kike Hernandez. Nobody scared him the regular season, but when the playoffs roll around, nobody wants to see him come up here on the other team.
Yeah, I promise you though. When the game's on the line or there's a big moment in a game and the Dodgers have a chance to score, I know we bitch and moan about the Dodgers leaving a whole bunch of guys on base. That's a good and a bad thing. That means you're getting a lot of guys on base. That's the good part of it. But then you're not driving them in. I think that's the baseball part of it. And I think every team goes through that. But I'll promise you other teams, when they see Will Smith or Freddie Freeman come to the plate with 2 outs or Kike Hernandez in the playoffs, those 2 dudes strike fear in people. I mean, because they're like, they're going to come through. They do every single time. I don't get that vibe is kind of what I'm saying. So I hope that continues, Coach. And as you watch this Padres team, it does feel like I know they've been good offensively, especially lately, but offense hasn't been their calling card. It's definitely been pitching. It really feels like, hey, we like the small ball. We like the bat-to-ball, contact-oriented type approach. But it does kind of feel like that approach kind of makes them to where they're not quite as good of an offense as they should be. That it's like they do it a little bit too much, and their approach is a little bit too tilted to the bat-to-ball, small ball type of style. You
know how coaches are, and even on the professional level, I'm assuming I've never been a professional coach, but everybody's looking around at Pat Murphy and the Brewers kicking everybody's ass doing that. And so you may start seeing some of these other managers do some of that. I think maybe the Padres I don't know. I don't watch them every game. Hell, I don't know. Maybe they're doing more of that. It's like what you said, of trying to move some runners over. The Brewers are very good at it. Now, if you're going to try to do it, you ain't worth a damn at it.
And they don't have as good of players, I don't think, they don't have Rafael Devers and Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis. They have good players, but they don't have that type of star-studded ability.
No, they don't.
So they have to do that.
They have to do that. But they do it well. That's the other part.
Yes.
A lot of guys try to bunt. They ain't worth a damn at it, especially because they don't work on it, Hell, last year I remember Marty Lee's finally telling Ethan, "Don't ever bunt again."
Don't do that.
Drill. I was running the bunting drill, and Marty looked at me. Hey, you seen enough of this? Yeah. He said, "Ethan, don't ever bunt again. You don't ever." Yeah. And that may happen when he gets to the big leagues. Whatever. I'm just saying. On our levels, like, hey, you're the number 1 pick in the draft. Why don't you just swing the bat? But anyway, So you can have that. Well, we need to play more small ball. But if you suck at it, it's not even good. The Brewers are good at it. Like you said, they don't have the man-per-man talent like the Padres, the Dodgers, or even the Phillies, a lot of these other Cubs and these other teams. But they're kicking everybody's ass because that's what they do, and they do it well. That's the same thing. Sometimes, as you mentioned, you can do it too much if you're not even good at it, or you can move runners and not drive them in. That's another part. Hell, it's great you moved them over, but LOBs are the biggest problem right there, and the Dodgers have had some problems with that, leaving men on base. I don't even talk about the last Toronto game. But anyway, so that's a big part of it. Yeah. So distractions, Coach. The Dodgers are the better team, point blank. If both teams play their A games, the Dodgers are the better team. Nobody's going to convince me differently of that. You have 3 Hall of Famers at the top. Of course, you don't have Max Muncy right now. But if Teo Hernandez is hitting home runs and doing what he did last night, Will Smith is the best hitting catcher in the game. The Dodgers have the better offense. They have the better starting pitching. And the bullpen we've seen with the Dodgers, although it's not the firepower that the Padres have, the bullpen has had times this year, and then last year we saw with a lot of the same guys. If Blake Trinan ends up being the Blake Trinan of last year, and Alex Vesia kind of gets over this little snap here, Jack Dreyer's been awesome, that kind of deal. You only need about 3 guys a night in the bullpen, so the Dodgers are just as capable in many situations of hanging zeros as the Padres are in the bullpen as well. So I say that to say I'm doing what I always do, Coach. I'm making a short story and making it long, right? So when you look at absolutely. So when you look at the Padres, I don't think they're as good as the Dodgers. So what you do is at that point is you try to suck the Dodgers into a type of distraction to get them away from their game a little bit. I think they did that last time the Dodgers played. We mentioned it yesterday. I think it's big for the Dodgers to do exactly what they did last night,
This is just a business trip, although you're at home. That's just a saying.
Yeah.
This is a business trip. We're not going to be sucked into your bullshit of throwing at people or the manager puffing his chest like Mike Schultz, some kind of badass, when there's 72 guys on the field that would all kick his ass, that kind of thing, in a physical altercation. And so don't get sucked into that. Make it a business trip. Just keep your head down, have that intense focus you have last night, and send their asses home again as little brother.
No, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, Mike Schultz can put, I got a lot of respect for the guy's outstanding manager, but you don't look over in his dugout and he's puffing his chest out like he did back in the day when the Dodgers had a dust up with a healthy Kirk Gibson and Don Baylor in the other dugout. Hell, there's some ass whippings coming if you go in that dugout with the Diamondbacks when Don Baylor and Kirk Gibson, when he was healthy, were in that dugout. You don't have any fear of Mike Schultz. But, yeah, we talked about it yesterday. Enough with you throwing at each other and all that crap. That doesn't win ball games.
It doesn't help the Dodgers. It's just a distraction to draw them in and get them away from their game.
Get into something that doesn't have anything to do with winning baseball. You know, and I understand it's a part of baseball. I've done it several times. I've sat there and without saying those words, and hopefully this, we thought this guy, because he took my second baseman out back in the old days, or run over my catcher and, whatever. Usually didn't have to say anything. The pitcher just did. I never told anybody, hit anybody, but, we want to send a message to somebody. But that's not how you play the game every day, every day. There's a time to play. The emotion comes out. We talked about the cheerleading earlier. Emotion comes out when it's supposed to. You can't do it every pitch, every inning. That's called cheerleading, rah-rah. It's a bunch of crap because you can't do it all day long. And if you do it all day long, it's fake. So, same thing here. The Dodgers don't get into theatrics. They didn't last night. Either team that I noticed, maybe I missed something there. I might have dozed off a little bit. I'm getting old, but I don't remember seeing anything. If anybody acting stupid last night. I think they got that out of their system the last series. Everybody, yeah. Even after the series, run their mouths, blah, blah, blah. Then everybody had to move on and go play baseball. So that's back where we are now. Hey, it's a tied in the top of the division. Hey, the only thing that matters, making winning baseball plays is all you got to be concerned with now.
Yeah. Yeah, and another thing that we've talked several different times about is the managing of Dave Roberts and kind of some of the decisions he makes where you're like, okay. And I'll say this, and this is an absolute fact. If you talk to any fan base of a baseball team, the biggest complaint they have is, our manager doesn't ever know when to take out a pitcher. He doesn't know when to leave him in. That's like every single team ever at every single level. We follow Oklahoma State. Rob Walton is a Hall of Famer through and through. They call him the Wizard. He's going to be in the Oklahoma State Hall of Fame. He should be in the College Baseball Hall of Fame as well. He's been the best pitching coach in baseball for like 20, 30 years now. And OSU fans every game would look, that guy doesn't know when to pull pitchers and this and that. It's just how it is because it's so unscientific. So when I hear that complaint that, he doesn't know how to manage a bullpen, this and that, okay, that's every manager ever on earth from every single fan base. I don't even listen to it because I just know it's, first of all, what's happening is, Coach, is you're focusing on the times where things didn't work.
Yep.
And you're not actually realizing when things do work, when a manager is brilliant, like Dave Roberts was last night. Dave Roberts knows how to manage a bullpen. Dave Roberts is actually fairly elite at it if you actually go back and weigh hey, this worked versus this didn't. And so, like I said, we're the Dodgers. It sucks whenever you make the wrong move, which every manager does, and it doesn't work. But Dave Roberts, again, last night, he absolutely was awesome as a manager, and it was yet another example of how great of a manager he is. He is not just creating an environment where guys can play and get comfortable, but also managing the game itself and the decisions within it.
Well, it's you mentioned it already. This game, how many times did everybody start bitching about Tony La Russa, one of the greatest managers ever lived? Me and you've both been in this situation. Mm-hmm. I call it making a great decision that didn't turn out worth a damn.
Absolutely.
I made the right decision. This is my guy that we're going to get here, and this is a guy coming out of the pen.
Was it the right decision to leave Blake Trinan in last year?
When he went over and put his hands on his chest? Yeah, hell yeah.
Hell yes, it was.
He wasn't doing analytics either. Blake Trinan's my damn guy. That's what I'm talking about, Case. You make maybe the outstanding decision in your mind. The guy comes in and throws 12 straight balls. Well, you're a dumbass now. No, I'm not throwing the pitches. I had a great idea, and this is how our game plan set up perfectly. I got this guy to come in. He throws 12 straight balls. Hell, he's not trying to throw 12 straight balls. Yeah. Nobody ever does. So, but then now you look like a dumbass. And I've been on the other side of it, just like Dave Roberts has, and you have, and everybody that's ever managed this game. Of, oh my God, all I got left is this guy. You put him in and he strikes out the side. Everybody pats you on the back after the game. Hey, you got great move, coach. Great move. Shit. Yeah. Hell, it's something actually happened. It's the same way on the major league level. He can make great moves. If a guy doesn't have it that day, he's gonna look stupid. How about we don't know? I used to always tell you guys, I said, these damn fans don't know what good. When the lights come on, they walk in here and start second guessing shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we know what Eddie would call it. Yeah. Say, hey, Eddie, do I need to pull this? What on? And he goes, flip a coin.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Flip a coin. Hell, I don't know. And that's a first-round draft pick who was a manager of a AAA club and could have been a major league manager, but he decided to settle down. And his response was, who the hell knows? Flip a coin. You don't know what's getting ready to come in out of the bullpen.
Guys, hey,
you have no idea.
Who you throwing tonight? So and so. Hey, is he ready? Hell, I don't know.
I'll let you know in an hour.
When he starts throwing, I know. You know, that's what I'm saying. You make educated your best decisions on that, and you look like a dumbass. Gary Ward told me that my first year coaching, and because I felt stupid all the time, because I probably was. He said, just as a parent, I appreciate you. Just make a damn decision. Sometimes you look like a genius. Sometimes you look like a dumbass. I just appreciate you doing it. And so I never forgot that. I'll do what I think's right, and sometimes you look like the stupidest sucker that ever walked in. It happens to Dave Roberts too, and every major league manager that's ever done it has had that. And the fan base, I've heard them on La Russa, I've heard them on Roberts, the guys that
every single manager ever.
You hear on Bruce Bochy now, get the hell out of here. The guy's a Hall of Fame manager.
Yeah,
you know, it's the nature of the game. It is, and it's never going to change, Case. It's never going to change.
Yeah, and I approached Dave as a fan, as I always approached John Chappell, the head coach that I worked underneath, as an assistant coach, okay? So it's one thing to, like, ask questions. It's a totally different thing to actually question the moves. It makes sense. That's like, as an assistant, my job's not to question your moves. My job is to ask you questions so you can run it through your head to make sure it's the right move. So as an assistant or as a fan, same situation here. All I ever ask is, what the hell is your explanation here? What were you thinking? And as I hear the explanation, okay, then you can at least listen for, okay, well, he actually had very good information. He made a good, sound decision here. It just didn't work. It's the times to where you go, okay, well, what the hell were you thinking here? What was the reasoning? And then they're like, they don't have an explanation. That's when you start losing confidence. But Dave always has great explanations. He always has reasons for why he does things. It's just sometimes as a manager, things don't work.
Now let's talk. Let's go somewhere else. Let's be Pete Carroll in the damn Super Bowl when you got beast mode and you throw a damn pass, 1 yard line gets intercepted because a cornerback had watched film all over. He knew what was coming. He picked the damn thing. Everybody's like, well, hell, you got Marshawn Lynch right behind you. What the hell? So the guy looks like a dumbass. He might have thought he might have saw something. Their offensive coordinator, hey, this play's going to work. The corner, he watches film too, by the way. He has access to it too. Yeah. He knew exactly what was coming. That's how he picked it off. Made a great play, by the way. Oh, by the way, that was an outstanding play. It wasn't just threw it right to the guy. But anyway, that's the same type deal. They had to educate. I promise you, there's an offensive coordinator in the box with a headset on like me and you got talking to Pete Carroll, whoever the hell else, and the quarterback on the field, Russell Wilson, sees it. That's what I'm talking about. Hell, that was probably a great decision that went to hell and they got beat. And everybody's like, okay, hell, you got beast mode, hand him the damn ball. It's the same thing here. Always going to be the same thing here. Hey, you get your ass beaten, you got your best reliever down there, he's all hot and ready to go. You didn't bring him in, now you lose a game. You look like a dumbass. Happens all the time. Every manager understands that. We're going to do the best we can, make the best decision now based on the information I have, or just the feel, like you said with Trinan last year. Yeah, they wasn't taking him out. He didn't need any damn paper telling him to take him out or not, what the analytics say. You're my guy. Get this sumbitch out so we can win a world championship. And he did. Yeah.
We have a question for Bruce Davis. Does Kershaw throw a knuckleball? Nobody throws a splitter. He started throwing that more this year. So that kind of goes back to the concept of, that's why I was so hard on Yoshinobu Yamamoto this last outing, because when you're an ace, you're expected to be a stopper. When your team needs a win, I'm not saying you go out and your team actually does win, 'cause it doesn't work that way in baseball. You can't. It's not like football. We go, we're gonna raise our energy. We're gonna work harder. We're gonna kick it. It doesn't work that way. I mean, sometimes that makes baseball harder. But what I was so disappointed in Yamamoto is that he just kind of added fuel to the fire of what had been the dumpster fire of the Dodgers for at least a couple of games. And so what Clayton Kershaw was last night, he was the stopper. He took the ball and he said, boys, we are winning the first game of this series. All you need to do is lay down a couple bunts, get a couple of base hits, hit a home run. Just give me a couple of runs, and we're going to win this game. That's what Clayton Kershaw did for this team, and it can't go unstated the amount of confidence that instilled into this team coming into last night, stepping onto that field.
It's like shit. We're on a losing streak. We lost 4 in a row. They won 5 in a row.
He was a stopper.
He's a stopper. Who do you want when in that situation? You got to have your stopper. You know what I mean? Is it Nolan Ryan's turn? Whoever. Here's the part I love, and I've had Kershaw. We've all said, hey, maybe it's time to return. This version of Clayton Kershaw is a pleasure to watch.
No doubt.
He made it. He hung a breaking ball on the middle plate. The guy hits it out. Hell, that's going to happen. But the way he carves up hitters, and sets hitters up now, he's the best version of what he is now, an 89 mile an hour instead of a 96, whatever the hell he used to throw. This version of him is great to watch. It's almost masterful. When he makes a mistake, he gets hit hard. He knows it. Everybody knows it, but he makes very few. And I know it's so good to watch. The guy's 7-2 now. And he's, like you said, the biggest game of the year was last night. I mean, you hate saying that, of 162.
It was.
But it was.
Some games are bigger than others. Last night was huge.
It meant something, the way the guys managed, the way the guys played. And it's Clayton Kershaw. That's the guy you want on the mound in that situation. And he came through with flying colors. Hey, give me, hell, you almost see him walking in the dugout. Give me a run. Hell, give me a couple of runs. That's all I need. It's like Gail Serge, you say, give me 6 inches of daylight. That's all the hell I need. Mm-hmm. Same way with Clayton. Give me a couple of runs and this bitch is over.
Yeah, no doubt about that. How about the rookies last night?
Yes.
Man, of course, Andy Paez is not a rookie, so we won't put him in that. He's had a great year. But Alex Freeland at third base, Coach, wow. I mean, the play behind the bag, and I can tell you've played a lot of third base. I've played a lot of third base. That play to your left, to that glove side, a lot of times it's hard. I mean, it's hard. It's a lot harder, especially because here's the deal. You're not in front of it, and you're not quite sure if it's going to flatten out. You're not sure exactly if it does hop, how high. And what I liked about him is he didn't raise his glove. He came forward towards the ball, which gave him more margin for error. And he just, beyond all the great plays, the hit that he got in the third inning, the 3-run third, right behind Michael Conforto, eventually came around and scored. Beyond that, Coach, you know this as well as I do, being in the game forever, just his look. The moment was not too big for Alex Freeland. As a matter of fact, it was the exact opposite. He was excited about being in this type of environment, which just shows you how competitive he is, and it just shows you that his mentality is one that a moment's not too big for him.
No, he's where we talked about this some in your state case. He's where he's supposed to be. He's in the big leagues. And credit the Dodgers also. When Muncy got hurt the first time, they move his ass to third base in Oklahoma City, and he's getting reps. He's not only getting game day work, I'm sure he's getting pregame work. He's getting with the great coaching staff at Oklahoma City working with him on playing third base.
I've seen it many different times, absolutely.
Yeah, you're down there watching. I mean,
Chris Gutierrez, who was the shortstop at OSU, played professionally.
Yeah.
That's who works with the infielders. He should be, if he didn't want to coach third base at the AAA level, he would already be a bench coach at the Major League level.
Yeah.
Chris Gutierrez is an elite infield coach. That's who's coaching you at AAA. He's awesome.
And he's out that Oklahoma Heat, taking ground ball, working his craft. And look at him now, great play. Now, of course, Freddie makes an unbelievable pick on one of them, but that's what Freddie Freeman, that's what great first basemen do. That's a great play by Freeland. Freeland had a hit. He had great play at third base. When you lose a Max Muncy who was playing outstanding on both sides of it, you got to have something. And I'm like you, Case. The moment wasn't too big for Alex Freeland. All he needs is reps. All he needs is touches, whatever the hell you want to call it, experience. He just needs to play. He's going to get better and better the more he plays at it. It's kind of like Paez. Last year we're like, oh shit, they're going to have to send this guy down. He's terrible. But the more he played, he came to himself. Now look, big contributor for the Dodgers. So Freeland has that look too, and that's great for moving forward. We don't know how long the oblique. Sometimes that's something that's hard to heal. It's one of those things that can be nagging, and we don't know how long Muncie's going to be out, and if he's going to be 100% when he comes back. So the fact they got Freeland ready in Oklahoma City, and they brought him up when they did, and he's getting some touches. Now it paid off last night big time. What a great game by the young man and all the rookies. And
originally that call up was going to be CJ Alexander. I posted that. That ended up not happening, but that was not actually an incorrect. I went ahead and brought it down because it eventually was not the correct information. But when it was posted, it was 100% correct. Actually, CJ Alexander was told that he was the one going up to taxi with LA in case Max Muncy went on the IL. And literally at the airport, they called him and told him to turn around. So the report that we had on Dodgers Daily yesterday about C.J. Alexander was 100% correct. The Dodgers decided to change course literally in midstream. And so whenever you have information that you put out there, and if they decide to change their mind at the last minute, there's absolutely nothing you can do about that. And the source, by the way, is the player himself. So if it is what it is. It's a bad situation, but hey, it is what it is. And so I went ahead and reposted it as far as, hey, this ended up not actually happening. Then I just eventually took it down. So I wanted to defend myself on that situation and kind of explain what happened there. So not just Alex Freeland, Coach. Ben Kasparius comes in, and we talk about things not being too big for the moment. How many times the World Series last year? How many times he had the bases loaded this year? And you're like, damn, Ben, you're not looking very good. Then all of a sudden he just throws two of the best pitches you've ever seen. And both of them are secondary pitches. And you're like, wow, that took some stones. So he gets the double last night. He comes through. Jack Dreyer finishes the game off. And then so you had Jack Dreyer. You had Ben Kasparius, Alexis Diaz. That was your freaking bullpen last night. I mean, come on, man. How awesome is that?
What it shows you, what you see is these young guys. I mean, Kasparius was there last year and what have you, but Dreyer, they're stepping up. We saw this 2 years ago when the Dodgers struggled. They didn't win the World Series. Last year we saw these young kids are being thrown into the fire. The thing is, they're being thrown in there not just to get some touches. They're being thrown there because we need to freaking win. We need you to perform.
No, they were the best ones that Dave felt like he trusted the most last night. That wasn't just, hey, you're here to fill out some innings.
Well, it's like the bullpen game, the damn playoffs in the World Series. That's because we talked about that then. That wasn't the best decision, but that was the only decision he had. He made the right decision by doing that. A couple of them didn't go well, but in key situations they did, and they're throwing young kids in there to do that. So you're seeing Kasparius, he's had some rough time, but he always finds a way out because he's got great stuff. Dreyer just gets better. It's like Robo, it's like Robleski. That when you mention about C.J. Alexander being in the airport, hey, I'm sorry, come back to Oklahoma City in the damn heat and eat your cheeseburgers. And
then he got 3 hits or a couple hits last night. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
To him. Yeah.
But it just magnifies what I always talk about, what I so respect about these young kids, what Robo went through. All these guys are going up and down. You don't know. And for you to get in there and get that opportunity, and you get it. Now we see Robleski start to come into his own and be a big part of the Dodger pitching staff. And you see Freeland, but you see Alexander. At some point he's going to get his shot. But it's got to be tough. I'm at the airport, got my stuff. Already called his family. I'm going to be in LA, and here we go. So that's every team. That's every kid on every team is trying to make it up and make that jump to the big leagues. And we've seen it, and that's the impressive part about it. And CJ will get his chance, and the Dodgers do a great job there. And so far, I love seeing these young kids coming because they're not. We're not 30 games out of first place. Hell, it's easy to bring these kids up. We suck anyway. Get these guys up here. Let's get them ready. If nothing else, we'll have them. We'll have to use them for trade. Everybody else will get to see them. This kid's pretty good. I want him. But hell no, we're in a pennant race. And the last 3 years, I go back, maybe probably even farther than that. At least the last 3 years, those guys have had to come in, mainly pitchers, in tough, clutch pennant race situations and perform, and you're seeing it not just the pitchers, but with Freeland and these young guys are coming on. It's great to see. That's why we love our Dodgers and the front office. They're constantly working what we need to do to win today, to win the daggum World Series, and that's what I love.
Yeah, I will say this: Alex Freeland, Dalton Rushing, Ben Kasparius, Jack Dreyer, Justin Robleski. There's one trait that all 5 of those guys have in common. Okay, they play different positions, they're different hands, that kind of thing. But there's one thing they all have in common. That is, they have literally zero fear.
Yep.
I mean, zero fear of failure whatsoever with all 5 of those guys. And it is absolutely obvious because last night, I mean, it was as close to a must-win as you can get in the middle of August. And you kidding me? Ben Kasparius is the first guy out of the pen, and Jack Dreyer is the last guy out of the pen to get the last out. That's top of the trust tree type of stuff there, Coach. And the Dodgers could have punted on Ben Kasparius. They could have said this was a nice experiment. Yep. He hasn't been pitching very well about a month ago. And they could have said, hey, let's go get our next 36-year-old Buddy Kennedy at the pitching pitching version and just go get another arm that has major league experience. They didn't. They stuck with the guy, and they were getting rewarded for it.
That's what I'm saying. It's like we had talked about Pajes last year. They stuck with these guys. They're given opportunities. Hell, you can almost see Freeland out there smiling when he gets on first base, making a play. He's got a big grin on his face. Hell, he's exactly where he's supposed to be. He just needs the experience. He just needs to get opportunities. And, I may be wrong on that. He may end up going back to minors. You never see him again. But he has the look of that guy. We just don't know yet because he hadn't had the opportunities. He's getting them now, and he had a great game last night. But like you said, those 5 guys right there, you can see them. They have zero fear whatsoever when they're coming in. And I'm sure we'll see Robleski pretty soon. If not tonight, he'll be a big part of this series before it's all over. All the rest of them will too. Dryer's been great. He gets better every time he comes out. Same way the Robo. Kasparius just has great stuff. He can overcome some crap that doesn't go his way because he has that type.
Great secondary stuff too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So the Dodgers are on the top of their game in the front office, the staff, the coaching, the Oklahoma City, Tulsa with Eric Wedge. You got a major league manager of the year out there, freaking Tulsa. These kids are getting it where they need
who, by the way, has them completely turned around. They have won 7 games in a row.
Oh, my brother-in-law's pumped, man. He said, hell, we're in second place. It's fun. Yeah. They're over drinking that cold beer on Thirsty Thursday and loving those drillers over there in Tulsa. So it's great to see Eric Wedge. So these guys are getting it. You have great coaching staff in the minor leagues, great coach staff of the best front office in Major League Baseball for sure. Maybe in any sport. Hell of a lot better than my Dallas Cowboy front office, but I haven't got time to go there. But anyway, so it's great to see.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I will say this though, the Max Muncy IL deal, that's very disappointing. That's a long term. If you don't have Max Muncy, that's a huge hit.
Yep.
I hate it when the Dodgers go get Kevin Biggio. I don't know anything about Buddy Kennedy. He's going to put on a Dodger uniform, and so I'm going to root for him like hell, like I would have of anybody else. I just simply don't understand why the Dodgers didn't bring up Nick Senzel. I mean, Nick Senzel can play first base. He's played outfield. He can definitely play third base. He's been hitting the ball very well as of late. I just don't know why the Dodgers feel like they have to go get a guy off the waiver wires from another team like they did Kevin Biggio last night instead of staying in-house when I feel like you have what you need in-house with Nick Senzel. But that's here nor there. I mean, that's just the way the Dodgers make decisions because they just love the veteran aspect of things. It's probably driving them nuts. They're having to rely on so much youth and Jack Dreyer and Ben Kasparius, Alex Freeland, Justin Robleski, at times Dalton Rushing. So having said that, Coach, the one probably complaint I have about, not one, I have, nobody's perfect, but about Dave Roberts is that I think it takes him too long to trust the young guys. And because of that, I think he makes bad decisions going with a veteran that's not as talented as a young guy when I think you need to let the young guy develop and take their lumps. So that's a big criticism of mine of Dave is he takes too long to trust these guys. So I'm just going to say it one more time, put a bow on this. To put Ben Kasparius and Jack Dreyer in the positions that Dave put them in last night, I cannot tell you the amount of the type of statement that is for Dave Roberts to go there in that part of the trust tree. That amazes me. That makes my head swim. Yeah,
and what kind of confidence does it give those two guys? They're center. They got to feel the same way. Oh hell, he's got a lot of confidence in me to put me in this situation. So and I know those guys are confident that
makes everybody else have confidence in those guys. That gives Freddie Freeman and
absolutely.
I mean, that trickles down, Coach.
It's the whole team. I mean, these guys, they've got confidence so they wouldn't be in the big leagues, Case. Make no mistake about it. Those guys, all these guys in the big leagues, and then a lot of them in the minor leagues, they have confidence in themselves, so they got that. But now your manager goes, hey, get in there. We're on a 4-game losing streak. It's a 1-run game. Get your ass in there and get us out of this deal. So that's great. That's great for them. That's great to see. And I hate to – I know what you're saying about going with the veterans. I think – if you had the choice of veteran or young one, I'd say most managers are probably go with the veterans. It's probably the deal like I mentioned a while ago. If we're 20 games out of first, hell, he's gonna go young. You know what I'm saying? I think you can see he wants a guy with some experience. I don't know. I don't know anything about Bijou. I know his dad was a damn Hall of Fame player. He's great, and he's not as good as his dad. I mean, obviously, not even close. So I don't know. Maybe the guy comes in there and he's the difference in us winning it all. I don't know. But
my point is, don't take at bats away from Freeland, man. Freeland looks fine. Why do you want to platoon there? Now, after the way Freeland played last night, why do you want to come out and say they're going to platoon? That's how you lose. You just gained all this confidence. Freeland looked great last night. Why do that? That's what gets me. That's my problem.
Yeah, I agree with him. Put him over and leave him. I mean, he's got a major league uniform on. Hell, you brought him up. You've trained him. You've had him in your minor league system. He's your guy. He performs last night in the biggest game of the year. Let's don't forget about that. I know, Hunter Seaton, but that's the biggest game of the year last night. You got a Hall of Fame pitcher on the mound carving these guys up with his 89-mile-an-hour fastball and just
it's a big environment.
It's huge. A packed stadium, Dodgers, La La Land, Friday night. The biggest game in Major League Baseball, one of the biggest of the year. This wrong. You don't say that a whole lot when you got so many, but it's a big stadium. This guy's out there with a freaking smile on his face, getting a hit and making great plays.
Hit me the ball, sucker. Let's
There's
go.
some touch. That's from Dave's hands going on Blake Treinen's chest, which I loved.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere. I need you.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
There's no analytics involved there. Alex Freeland, get your ass in there and play, baby.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go. And I know why they're going to do it. Alex Freeland is substantially better as a left-handed hitter against right-handed pitchers. And so what they're going to do is they're going to try to protect him from the right side because he has not been as good of a hitter from the right side.
Gotcha.
That all that part of it makes sense. I think Alex will understand that. But I hope that's not like the long-term plan for an Alex Freeland. So let me back up a little bit on what I said there, because the splits for Alex Freeland are pretty substantial, and I think they're trying to fit that from a metrical perspective until they can get Max Muncy back. But hey, let's talk about Alexis Diaz. I said even when he was at Oklahoma City, he relies on chase. We saw the slider that was way out of the zone that I believe it was Devers chased for his first out. He got a second strikeout. Then he gave up a hit to Jackson Merrill and then got pulled. So I'll say this point blank, Alexis Diaz is far from in my trust tree. I think he has to rely on chase. I think he got lucky that he got chased last night. I am certainly not convinced that Alexis Diaz's stuff that he throws to home plate when it's in the strike zone, if other teams force him to stay in the strike zone, is good enough to get crucial outs. So I think the Dodgers got away with Alexis Diaz last night. I'm not sure that that's the best thing moving forward as far as him being high leverage in the back of that pin.
Well, usually the big league hitters, most big league hitters aren't going to chase. Some are, they'll get the old term, the free swingers. I remember Manny Sanguillen hit one that bounced to home plate, swamped the damn thing. I mean, even Vlad Guerrero, senior, they swing, hell, anything bounces up there. You're going to get those guys. Of course, those are also Hall of Fame player, big time. I don't know if Manny Sanguillen's in there, but he was a good player.
You're dating yourself, Coach.
You're going to get – oh, hell yeah, man. Bob Robertson, Roberto Clemente. Everybody knows Roberto Clemente, one of my favorites.
Absolutely.
Rest in peace, young man. What a great player. But, definitely dated. Those old hats of Parchies where, you won't get into that. But, I was 20 years old when that happened. No, I wasn't that old. But, we'll go back there. See these situations arise all the time, and you just hope for the best.
Yeah. 100%. Hey, we have a question here. So it was a great win last night. We'll get into some more Blake Snell here in a minute. But we have a question on our TikTok side. Let me actually get to this and get over to the video, and then let me get your virtual cam on here so you can see it, Coach. Okay. And then here we go. Okay, so we have a question. Does Oklahoma City have a high leverage arm that they could bring up as far as for the bullpen, to bolster the bullpen? So the Oklahoma City Dodgers actually threw a bullpen game last night. So you got to see a lot of their biggest bullpen arms. Nick Frasso, you got to see Jose Rodriguez, you got to see Paul Jerves. So I think the guy that, of course, I've been saying that about Julian Fernandez all year, who, by the way, Julian Fernandez easily has been Oklahoma City's best reliever for multiple months now, and they DFA'd him. I have no clue where that came from, but it is what it is. So I think if there was a next guy in line to get the next touch at the major league level, I think you're looking at him right here. This is newcomer Paul Jerves. He has a fastball, slider, cutter. He is 6'10", coach, and he has 7'6" extension. That means he is delivering it a little bit over 52 feet to home plate.
Looks close.
Get the hell out of here.
This look where his damn hand is when it comes. He's off. He's up on the grass there. And I think it's more than 50, less than 52. That body. There's no way that doesn't affect hitters. You see his elbows and whatever you want to call it. The ball's coming out. It's 6'10", and the time it gets, it's like Randy Johnson. Of course, that's another freak of nature. That this guy isn't Randy Johnson, but
I interviewed Paul Jerves. That was the first thing I said. Do you ever get compared to Randy Johnson? Although he's left-handed, he said no, but my brother's the same height, and he's left-handed, and he's the one that gets compared. Yeah. I'm going to release my interview with Paul Jerves coming on Monday.
Yeah, I like the way he looks. I mean, 6'10" guy. He looks. He looks fluid. He's got some good arm angle. I mean, it doesn't look like he bounces around a little bit. He's got some athleticism with him. Yeah, that'd be a guy that it's intriguing. I bet that for us as fans, and Dodger Dawgs is damn sure intriguing to watch this guy. And from this point on, it's on, man, up on the major league level.
It is.
You never know when somebody goes down. You got to go. I mean, who's the next man up? It's like when Muncy went out. Hell, we all hate it. The guy's playing great. He hated it, but not only does whoever plays third got to pick it up, we need some of the other guys to pick it up. The guys that have been there, start every day, play every day. We need other people to pick up the slack when Muncy goes out. Same thing. So that's the same way on the mound too. Somebody goes out, you go get it. You go get him. You get Bobby Miller. Hell, you got him there for a reason. I mean, they're yours. What are you waiting on? If that's your next choice, your best choice, go get them.
Yeah. Okay, so Paul Jerves, 2 scoreless innings last night for Triple Oklahoma City. ERA on the year, 2.08. Let me start this back up so you can keep watching him. 2.08 ERA for Paul Jerves on the year. 6'10", 7'6" extension, and 2.08 in his 8.2 innings with Oklahoma City. He just came over at the trade deadline. He was part of the Hunter Fiducia deal. Overall, 2.94 ERA on the year. Average against, coach, 188, and that's great. We know he's going to be explosive at 6'10", but how about this? His whip, his walks and hits per inning, just 0.94. 0.94, so he's been efficient too. 72 strikeouts in 49 innings pitched. Again, fastball, that's lots of velo on it. He has a cutter and a slider, 7'6" extension. So check this out, coach. Get you some popcorn and listen to this story. He grew up in North Carolina in the Raleigh area, and out of high school, he went Division III, Pfeiffer University, Division III. And at Division III, he was getting lit up. He was throwing like 84, 85 miles an hour as a 6'10" dude at a Division III baseball school. He was paying his own way, okay, because they didn't have scholarships. And his dad was paying for a lot of it. So his dad came up to him and said, you know what, Paul? You're 6'10", dude. You're way better than your pitching. If you're not going to get serious about the game of baseball, I ain't paying for your ass to play college baseball anymore. And so Paul was like, that's fair. So then he got to thinking about it. He's like, well, I kind of need to get serious about this. So then he transferred JUCO so he could have a better path to Division I college. Well, then nobody wanted him. So he actually went Division II JUCO, got very serious about it, bumped his velo up to like 94, eventually transferred to a second JUCO right there in the Raleigh area named Pitt Tech JUCO. Had a good year. After that year, he sent out 200 emails. Only 16 schools had any kind of response whatsoever. Only 16. And that's not offers. That's just responses. And eventually one of those schools became LSU. He hopped on the LSU train. If you remember, Coach, I know you saw him. You saw this game. Yep. He shut down Southern Miss in a regional game, then eventually got drafted. So he went from Division III to Division II JUCO to he made his major league debut last month with the Rays, and now here he is with a chance to make another one.
Yeah, I mean that guy's he's set up for. I mean, Dodgers. I mean, we talked about the trade deadline. Didn't seem like they got great help in the big league level. But how about these cats they got down, including this guy? I mean, he's already had a touch this year in the major leagues, and what a great story. You go from Pitt Tech, and all of a sudden you're an elite college Division I program, and LSU, one of the top 5 in the history of the game, is LSU. You know, maybe top 3 in the history of the game. So, and he goes out there, and so he's getting in great instruction. He's got serious about it. His he's gotten stronger. I'm sure he's gotten better. He bounces. That's another part about it. The guy's coming over. You know, he knows he's with a world champion organization. I may have a chance to get up there this year. He's bouncing around. He looks fluid. I mean, hell, I don't know the kid, but he looks like it. Damn, I'm glad to be here. Let's go. You know, he's popping around, and that sometimes that fresh start sometimes is amazing for guys.
Yeah, 100%. So this has been a great show. Hey, Chuck, I appreciate your comments about enjoying the Zach Earhart and James Tibbs, the third interview. By the way, I'm going to Tulsa tonight. I'm going to interview Kyle Nevin and one Mr. Rick Honeycutt. He is in Tulsa this week. I've already set it up with Rick. We're gonna have a conversation tonight. Then I'm going to go back Sunday, and I hope to interview. I think I'll probably get Will Klein, and then I think I might also get Michael Kopech. So big week for Dodgers Daily. So super excited. It was a great game last night. We are back now to our live feed here.
Okay.
So tonight is Blake Snell versus Dylan Cease. It's going to be another just spectacle. Again, you won last night. That's great. But what the Dodgers haven't really been able to do is just create sustained momentum. Like I said, they won 2 games against Toronto, but then just fell off a cliff. So what you have a chance to do here that you haven't been able to do since basically the beginning of July is create sustained momentum in terms of winning games. And it continues with tonight.
Yeah, a big game. And like you said, the funny thing about the Toronto, not funny, haha, but funny is that the first 2 games you're thinking, we're just dominating these guys.
Yeah.
And then the part of the third, even the third game, we're playing pretty damn good. We're dominating these guys. And all of a sudden it goes to hell in a handbasket. So you don't know what you're going to get into there. But, yeah, with Cease and against Blake Snell tonight, 2 of the – at times, and at one time in their career, both 2 of the best pitchers in the big leagues, and they both had that type of potential to go out and to shut down the other team. So it wasn't many hits last night. I don't expect there to be a whole lot of hits tonight. So that's the beautiful thing about it that we love, Casey. Every pitch means something. Every play means something. And you just don't it'll be a playoff atmosphere again. At Chavez Ravine, I wish I was there with a cold one and a Dodger dog, but I'll watch it from here in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
All right, here's the biggest question of the day, Coach. Are we Yingling or Bud Light tonight?
I'm always Yingling, man. I never have Bud Light. I quit doing that Bud Light a long time ago. Too many bad headaches.
Too many bad headaches.
I get a headache with Yingling, but not like the Bud Light. That's probably just in my mind anyway. You know what?
So we're going to pregame it, or is this like pitch number 1? We crack open the first.
Probably pitch number 1. You know, if I have a cold, no, I'll probably pregame it. Who am I getting here?
Okay.
If I have Bud Light in the fridge, I'll drink it though.
There you go.
Okay, so there's not much I won't drink, so I'm not going to lie about it.
Including Diet Dr. Pepper.
Yes,
and water out of a hose.
And water out of a hose and out of a bucket back in the old days.
Absolutely.
Have the water bucket, take the freaking lid out, and hand it to the next guy. The whole damn team drinks out of the lid. That's old school there.
Absolutely. Yeah, water out of a water hose. I mean,
and it's hotter. Yeah. Hey, by the way, if it's in the summer in southern Oklahoma at Randolette, where I grew up, as you guys, I know that's a big shocker. I grew up in southern Oklahoma, my way I talk, but if you get that hose and turn it, it's hotter than hell. It'll burn. You better be ready. You better let it run for a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
That hose is that hose has been let out in the yard. It's frying now, and you get that hot water. It'll ruin your whole day. So you got to let that sucker run a little bit. You'll only drink that hot water once, and it'll teach you a damn lesson. So
So you used to drink out of a hose back in Randolette?
Ride that bike and drink it. Hey, that's a good old days, Case. You ride the damn bike or play in the yard.
Oh, yeah.
You just go. It didn't matter. You just go to somebody's house and get the hose and drink. Nobody cared.
Absolutely. No, absolutely nobody cared.
The closest house you come to, if there's a hose laying out there, you grabbed it, and all of you got a drink. So. And you know what? We lived through it too. It's probably rough.
We absolutely did.
There ain't no telling what the hell's in that hose when you're drinking it. But we all still here, so he must have been all right.
Absolutely awesome, Coach. You got anything else that that you want to add to this show today?
Probably enough. I apologize to Dodger Dogs. You had to hear my voice and this twang for 2 days in a row.
Oh, wait, by the way, as you're talking about your twang, let me stop you there, okay? If Coach Holt sounds a little bit better, it's because we got him a nice microphone and a whole new setup, a whole new laptop, new earphones there and all that. So Coach Holt sounds much clearer. It was absolutely
hilarious. Anymore.
Yeah. Here you got this guy that grew up in southern Oklahoma, as country as you could possibly be, in Coach Holt. And the people that I was getting worn out by all the Asian people because with their closed caption, his microphone wasn't good enough to make the closed caption work properly. So I was getting like 100 emails a day from people in Asia about Coach Holt, how I need to get him a better microphone because they can't understand what he's saying because of the closed caption. So here you have this hillbilly dude from southern Oklahoma getting his ass worn out from all the Asian people because the Dodgers signed Shohei Ohtani.
Hey, is that
not the baseball's awesome story of the day?
That's the best story. I've been laughing all morning because you got me hooked up here in Korea. Everybody in Korea and Japan. I apologize.
It's Korea and
Casey
Japan.
got set up with the closed captioning or whatever the heck they're using.
Yeah, Korea and Japan. Coach.
Korea and Japan. Yeah, I think I had it wrong earlier today, but Korea and Japan. I apologize if you guys before, but Casey's got me set up here. It's still hillbilly twang, southern Oklahoma, but it's clear. And I think they can pick up what I'm saying. So
that is so important because everything.
That's awesome stuff.
Yeah, everything you have to say is just.
I'm not shocked
awesome,
that people in Korea and Japan can't understand what the hell I'm saying. I mean, that's not a big shock.
Yeah, see,
people in Oklahoma can't understand what the hell I'm saying.
Yeah, there's a transition period. I speak very good, Coach Holt, by the way.
Yes, you do.
I know exactly what you're saying at all times.
I've known you since you're 8 or 9 years old, so you've heard it long enough. You've got to figure it out.
There's a lot of times where I don't think you know what you're saying, and I know what you're saying. No. That's what happens when you play for Coach Holt, right?
That's true. That's true. A lot of times I just flew off the handle. I had no idea what I was saying, but you guys got it, so that's all.
Hey, Coach Small, your assistant. Hey, Smalls, what are you trying to say? Hell, I don't know. I have no clue what the hell.
Go with it. It's almost like the water boy.
He's trying to say that things aren't good and you need to get your shit together. That's what Smalley would always say.
I'm not quite as bad as the assistant on the water boy. But somewhat like that. You know.
Well, somebody go get that son of a bitch a Diet Dr. Pepper so we can play some baseball, please.
Yeah, when I used to smoke, when I quit smoking, you guys went and bought me a pack of cigarettes. That's such a butthole. Somebody get that guy a pack of smokes. I walked up, I pulled in, and Kelly Revison said a pack of cigarettes on the dugout. For God's sake,
would you shut the hell up, you grumpy old...
Can't make it up.
Then we'd show up and you'd be like running the outfield fence and be like, oh shit, this is not going to be a good day because that subbitch is going to come back madder than hell that he had to run today.
When you're old and fat, you try to lose weight because I eat all the bad stuff and drink all the bad stuff. So I had to do something. Now I just walk. I don't run anywhere if I can help it. Okay, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Coach, that was a lot of fun.
Love it.
Thank you so much for joining. You know I love you, Coach.
Love you too, man, and love our Dodgers and our Dodger Dogs. Can't wait till first pitch tonight. Go Dodgers.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Dodgers Dogs, you know you're the best crowd out there, and 100%, not the biggest, but the most elite baseball chat on earth. I will go to my grave saying that. So thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, I want to remind you, beat the Padres 1, but as always, it's a great day to be a Dodger.